You are listening to the Motherhood Unstressed podcast, and I'm your host, Liz Carlile. Welcome back. Welcome to a fresh week. I'm so glad that you're here and that we are spending this time together. And as you read from the title, this episode is going to be all about easy hacks that you can put into place to make your life healthier, less stressed, and just more efficient during this strange time, quarantine. And, most of you are highly educated. You're already on that health track. You probably don't need a ton of advice in your life. But I think sometimes it's good to get a different perspective on motherhood, on self-care, on all of that, so that it kind of reinvigorates you to keep doing what you should be doing, keep doing the things that make you happy, that make you healthy. And that's what my guest is here to do today. Her name is Lilly Cadoch. She's a certified health coach. She's an author. She's a mom of 2 boys. She knows her stuff. And so we're talking about the small things that you can put into place that are going to make your life easier and make you happier and make your children happier. It's always that ripple effect that happens when we work on ourselves. And so we're talking about gratitude, we're talking about meditation, we're talking about exercise, we're talking about meal planning, all of these things that, when taken as a whole can feel completely overwhelming, but Lilly does a great job in breaking that down. So I think you're going to love this episode. If you do, please share it with at least one friend. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That does so much for the show. I can't even tell you. And, tag us on your Instagram stories. I can't tell you how happy it makes me when I see you out on your nature walk or cleaning and listening to a podcast. That's honestly my favorite thing to do, getting outside and listening to a podcast and just getting completely lost in the conversation. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and catch you on the other side. This episode is sponsored by Motherhood Unstressed CBD. If you didn't already know, yes, I have a CBD line. I know there are a lot of lines out there, but when I created mine, I had the mother in mind. I wanted her to be able to access the healing power of cannabis, the cleanest, most organic version at the lowest cost. And I think that I've done that. And that's why we're still around after several years, despite the market being absolutely flooded. We are completely organic. We are USA grown. We are sustainably sourced. And the stories from my clients out there who have tried it have really buoyed my spirit and created just this amazing community around the line. So pick up yours today at motherhoodunstressed.com and use the code BUCKHEAD to save. So glad that you're here. I think what you do is so important, so pertinent to what we're all going through right now. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. So to kind of get us started, talk to us about how you even became a health coach. What drew you to that line of work?
Yeah. So I would say, a few years back, I was, definitely the struggle of being a busy mom, working full time and everything that goes along with that. I mean, I felt that firsthand. Felt like I wasn't able to do anything right, had to juggle so many different things. And at the same time, I have 2 boys, and one of them had high triglycerides, and then the other one was getting a lot of eczema. So I knew that something had to change. And I've always been interested in food and healthy eating. And I knew that there was some connection for that. I didn't want to go the medical route of getting steroids for eczema and going to that path. So what I decided to do, I just had this epiphany. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to nutrition school. I will juggle that with work. I will find the time. I don't think I watched a television episode in a year during that time, because I had to carve out, and it definitely taught me a lot about time management. So I definitely did that, got my health coach certification, started implementing the tips first for me, realized that being healthy is so much more than even the food that you eat, but how you think and how body and mind and spirit are all intertwined. Shared that with my family, taught them how to read food labels. It's I had a 3rd grader telling his friends at school, reading the back of their label and telling them what's healthy and what isn't healthy, which was kind of a different issue. And then when I just had success first with me, friends, and then clients, then a lot of people kept saying you should write a book, putting everything in there and sharing that with a wider audience. And that's where Busy Mom's Cheat Sheet was born, because really what caregiver doesn't want a cheat sheet to get through all of this? So that's been my evolution up until now.
I love it. And that's so true. I mean, we both attended the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. It's a
Yeah.
fabulous school. And you're right. Most people don't want to spend a year of their lives not watching TV and studying all these different theories. So yeah, to condense it and make it really easy to read and consumable, I think is so needed.
Yeah.
But talk to us now. I mean, like I said, I think the work that you're doing now is so apropos and pertinent to COVID and what all these moms are now going through, all the people in the world are now going through. What are some ways that you have been talking to clients, talking to your audience about how to stay, focused and healthy and just present and not insane during this huge change?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely been the number one topic, and what I've had to also like try to figure out here in my household and then share with others. And I think this is like week 3 of staying at home and having to juggle, with all the moms out there having to juggle work, like the online schooling, preparing meals, not knowing how they're gonna, figuring out how to safely get groceries. It's definitely been a very challenging time, and I think my number one advice is to try to get in some kind of remnants of a schedule, because I think that without that, it's very easy to let the day go by. Feel like you're not getting anything done. Like I've had like one of my clients like literally texting me yesterday saying like, I feel like I'm not getting any work done. Kids are driving me crazy, running around. So I think like establishing some kind of schedule, trying to wake up similarly to when you woke up when you had to go to work, maybe giving yourself that commute time. So, if you like left the house at 8:00 and now you don't really have to start until 9, taking that 1 hour, reflecting on like your day ahead, what you want to, like what you're going to prepare for the meals of the day, maybe taking a walk around the neighborhood before you get stuck on like back-to-back meetings or whatever else that you're doing. So that I've found has been like a good, time for your own self-care, your own thoughtful process, so that when the day hits, you feel like you're more in control. So I would say like a schedule is a big thing right now. And then I think a lot of it is planning, and having those same kind of rituals that you had before. Like, for example, like on Saturdays, figure out like what the week ahead is for meals. And get my kids involved in that and making sure that they have a say in like them each choosing one, because I know then at least they'll taste it. They'll help me make it, so at least they'll be accountable to like one of those meals. They'll want to try each other's meals, and then having that schedule. And then on a Sunday, maybe making a soup, maybe roasting some vegetables, making a grain so that you can like just serve that with whatever during the week, and just little things that can save a lot of time over the week and cause a little bit, have it be a little bit less stressful during this very stressful time.
Yeah, I love that. And honestly, that's been exactly my problem the past 2 weeks. Is some days I'm good, I'll get up early, and you're right. When you have like an hour, even 20 minutes to kind of get settled, to meditate, work out, do whatever, the kids get up and you're like, okay, let's go.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But when I don't, it's like, what's happening? Where am I? And I'm having in conversations with other moms, they're going through the exact same thing. So I think the main issue that was we get through the day and then we want to have that time at night to just veg out, to have a glass of wine or 2 or 3 and just kind of, decompress. So how do you balance having your own decompression time and watching bad TV with getting up early and working out? I mean, it's like it's one or the other. How do you balance that?
I think like I try to follow, and I have this in my book, like my 80-20 rule, where, if you want to do anything that's sustainable, you have to allow for that variation. So, I try to work out 3 to 4 days a week. And I try to figure out during the week which days would be best, like figuring out with work, when are my busier days, with school, if my kids have certain assignments that are due that I know they'll need my help with. So having like a little family meeting to kind of see the week ahead and then plot those out. And then on the days that I don't have to, you could have, that extra glass of wine, binge on, your Netflix series. I think I've gone through like 2 of them already. and kind of like juggle it that way.
I love that. I love that. So, it seems like you have a really good, I don't know, communication set up with your children. You're talking about meals, you're talking about planning for the week ahead. How have you talked to your children, or what do you suggest to communicate to them about what's going on with this virus and how they can't see their friends and they can't go to parks? Like, what do you suggest and how to talk to them?
Yeah, I think it's been very important for us. And, my husband's been tracking this virus since like early February. So he was putting in all these things in
Yeah.
place when my friends were thinking we were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He saw it coming. I mean, I don't think we ever thought it would be as bad as it is now and as bad as, unfortunately, it's going to get. But we've been prepping our kids, even with the basics, like teaching them again, refreshing on how to wash your hands, like doing a little, my husband literally did like a little demo. And he showed a video that he saw where there was this doctor that said like he was showing like, how to wash hands with soap, but he used something black. And he said, this is how most people wash their hands. And it showed all the areas of the skin that were not black and like all the missing spots in between the knuckles, under the nails and all the different places. And I think that really kind of hit home with them like, oh, wow, like all these exposed areas. So we're basically like trying to, teach them the tools to be, practice like proper hygiene, also letting them know how important it is to boost your own immune system during this time. So we're, taking all of our vitamins, supplements, a lot of vitamin C, D, zinc, the daily vitamin, probiotics, because a lot of our health is in our gut, just so that, if God forbid we are exposed for any reason, we're at least, as strong as possible to fight it. And then we try not to like have the news on all day long, or my husband kind of does that in the bedroom, like on his own, and not to kind of give unnecessary fear or too much trauma from all of this, but at the same time explaining to them in like a realistic way so that they kind of understand why they can't go. Like it's so hard for my son not to go across the street to his best friend's house to play basketball.
Yeah.
And, so it's definitely an adjustment for everyone. And, hopefully we'll all get past this and, stay healthy and everything else. But I think being just like transparent, honest, and then teaching them the tools, more like the outward tools as well as internally making themselves strong, could be like things that we're going to practice even beyond this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, during this time, I'm always looking for silver linings and how to make a positive out of, a very negative situation. And I think that's so spot on, making them more resilient, having them deal with a stressful situation in real time and watch us and how we handle it. Right. I think that's really important. So do you have, and you're a very spiritual person, do you have a particular spiritual practice or things that you do that your kids see or that you model for them?
Yeah. And to the point that you were saying before, they are watching us and we don't even realize the effects that that's going to have in their life into adulthood in how they react to very stressful situations. So basically, like, however we want to be, we have to be extra careful because we're teaching them how to cope with things. So for example, like keeping my workout regimen when it's so easy to just plop in front of the couch and watch, more addictive TV, I'm, making it, a conscious effort, and they see that. And it's like, oh no, I can't do this yet. I have to work out. We'll get to this in like a half hour or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. Also taking them on like walks around the neighborhood, even if it's just as easy, just like walking our dog, good 20-minute walk a day, getting some fresh air. Usually try to do that like even after dinner, before it gets dark, just to kind of like, catch up on the day and get some fresh air. So having that like little habit and ritual, and some things that maybe we weren't able to do before, because let's say if I wasn't home in time for that because of work priorities. So kind of also making them see the silver lining, like, my younger son was like, oh, I'm stuck at home. Like, how long am I going to be stuck at home for? It's like, you're safe at home.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a mindset shift, just like even one word. It's like, you're safe at home. God forbid you're not in like a hospital on a ventilator, fighting for your life, or loved ones that you don't even know if they're going to come home, like a different perspective. So I try to, get out, have them work out, see me working out, see how I'm handling things. And then also gratitude practice. So they say that, like, what's the quote? It's not happy people that are grateful, but grateful people who are happy. So basically, even for sure, like when we start the week, but I try to even do it every day until they like call me annoying. And then I like give it a rest for a couple of days and then start it again. But just asking them, like, what are you grateful for today? What are you happy, that you have right now? Like, you don't have like the commute. Like my son, like one of my sons travels 40 minutes to school every day.
Oh, wow.
Like, so he was like, oh, I don't have that commute. I can, sleep in a little more. I can have a little bit more of my like flexible schedule. So even it's like the simplest things, instead of looking at all the things you can't do, like you can't go out and play with your friends. You can't go out to dinner. You can't. So I think a lot of that we've been trying to implement that, just because this is the test.
Yeah, this is the ultimate test. I think for all of the spiritual gurus out there, all the self-care mamas out there,
Right.
like, okay, like, here we go,
Yeah.
everything that you've been preaching, let's see if you can handle it. And you're right. I think a gratitude practice is so transformational for kids, for adults. But if you can get them in that mindset to go towards the positive early on, I mean, they'll be unstoppable.
Yeah. And then there was actually one thing that I remember, which you probably remember from IIN learnings. Dr. Andrew Weil, when he shared with us the 4-7-8 breath.
Yeah. Oh, can you do this for our listeners right now?
Yes. So this is something that literally I taught my kids years back when I learned this, and something that now has become a habit for them. Let's say when they're about to take a test in school that they're anxious about. When my son wanted to try out for the soccer team and knowing that like it was only a 40% acceptance rate, he was really nervous. So I said, nobody knows you have to do this. You can even do this with your eyes open. And something that you just want to be, that it's like better than any anti-anxiety medicine out there. So what you do is you just try to be in like try to sit down. If you're standing, that's fine. Like however you want to best do it. You hold in your breath for 4. You take a breath in for 4, you hold it in for 7, and then you shoot it out for 8. So I'll demonstrate it. You go.
Yeah, let's do it.
And you do 4 cycles of that.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's fabulous. Yeah. I love that.
And they can just like ground you, relax you, get those butterflies out of your stomach.
Yeah.
And like, so they try to do it when they get stressed out. I also say like, try to do it before bed to have like a more sleep. And that's another tool to help kind of ground yourself in this whole thing.
Again, it seems like it's all these little tiny, tiny adjustments, tiny little steps, a little bit of planning, and it just completely makes your life easier. So it seems like you do have to have some discipline in your life, but once you do, I mean, you're free, like you free up so much anxiety, you free up so much mental effort and strain. And even like you said, doing that before bed, like how many adults listening to this right now have racing thoughts, haven't been sleeping well, with everything going on. You do that, and that's, you don't have to take medication. So you're saving your liver, you're boosting your immune system because you're getting enough sleep. Like, it's just so crucial. That's why I'm so glad that you're here to talk about this.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's these little things that seem like, oh, all these things I have to remember, but it's like just putting in like one step at a time. And when you see how much it frees you and makes you feel better, you won't want to stop those things.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've covered a lot. What would you say is your biggest takeaway for the listener, the woman listening to this who's like, okay, I've got some strategies now. I know what I need to do. What would be number 1 on your list to put into place today?
Yeah. I mean, I would say first, like, take all of this and don't get anxious that you have to do all these things today, because that can have like the opposite effect. one thing I've learned is like wellness and health is more of like a marathon versus a sprint. So if you look at it in the long term, and this is something this is not like a fad diet that like in 2 months you're going to be good and you don't have to do anything anymore. This is something that you want to do for the rest of your life that'll make you feel better. So if it's either doing the 4-7-8 breath, if it's, just sitting your kids down and asking them what they're grateful for, if it's on a Saturday figuring out even 2 meals for that week that you want to get a head start on. And then that, oh, wow, those 2 days were the best days of the week. Let me try to add one more. So it's like starting small and then like adding incrementally to that.
I love that. So I do have some rapid fire questions for you if you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. True health is like paradise. I'm grateful for
my family.
And last one, what is something that you've learned in life that you wish someone would have told you earlier on?
So many things. I could write a separate book on that. But I would say that don't let fear and not having everything ready stop you from doing whatever it is you want to be doing even right now. You could be making a million excuses like, oh, I can't do this right now because of this. Or fear makes us procrastinate, makes us not get out there, makes us not pursue what our passion would be. So growing up, I would say that, like, I wish someone said to me, fear of failure, don't be like afraid to fail, because fail doesn't mean you're worthless, loser, you don't know what you're doing. It's just repivoting you in the direction you want to go in to achieve your goals. I used to think it was like there was 2 paths, like success and failure. And like, I'm at a crossroads, which way do I turn? And because you don't want to make a mistake and you don't know, you just don't go anywhere. Versus it's like, now I've learned that it's like the same trajectory. And it's really people that get what they want and pursue their goals and are persistent are the ones that do fail along the way. Because it's that one straight linear path. And you have to have some failures that you then learn from, pivot from. So anything that you guys are doing out there, anything that you guys want for yourselves, for your families, just to kind of go for it. Nobody has it all figured out. Everyone is kind of figuring it out along the way, and to not let that stop you.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. And talk to us a little bit as we round out about your book, about your offerings that you have going on now.
Yeah. So my book, and I have it right here so I can show you guys how it looks. Busy Mom's Cheat Sheet, Raising Happy, Healthy Kids. This is on Amazon. You can get this on Amazon right now. And what I shared here, this is like my cheat sheet that I've, again, shared with, learned with myself, kids, families, friends, clients. And it's only like 100 pages, very quick reference. And I divide it between body, mind, and spirit, and tips for each of those sectors, because again, I believe everything is intertwined. And then it also has like 50 recipes at the end.
Nice.
That are like quick, easy, and delicious, and have both of them had to like love it for it to get in here. They're both so different. So I'm like, okay, if they both like it, most people will like it. If you also want to just get my free newsletter, you can go to busymomscheatsheet.com, sign up for that. I share tips, inspiration, recipes. And then I'm probably most active on Instagram under Busy Mom's Cheat Sheet, also on Facebook, YouTube. And then I'm currently working on an Audible version of the book, but that probably won't be ready for a couple months from now.
Wow, you are a busy lady. I love it. You're so inspiring. And all of those things that you just referenced will, of course, be in the show notes if you are out walking your dog right now and you don't have a pen. Lilly, thank you so much for being on the show. This was such an honor. And really, I think, gosh, your message is just so needed right now. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great to be here.
You have been listening to the Motherhood Unstressed podcast, and I'm your host, Liz Carlile. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you love this episode, please share it out with a friend or on social media. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You just have to hit those 5 stars. You don't even have to write anything. And as always, make sure that you're subscribed so that you never miss a guided meditation every Wednesday or every Monday, an interview with an amazing guest doing amazing work in the world.